Is the carnivore diet a good option for rheumatoid arthritis? And what's the best way to ensure results? In this video, we'll be covering the carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis, how it holds up against other diet options, and the common mistakes to avoid. Plus, we'll give you some tips on how to track your progress and achieve the best results. Hi, I'm Dr. Dasari, a surgeon dedicated to reducing inflammation caused by gut microbiome imbalances. I myself struggled with digestive dysfunction and autoimmune inflammation in my early 20s and successfully put together a methodology that worked not only in me, but also my patients. My method is called the mind-gut immunity approach, and it has resulted in thousands of successes over the years. If you or someone you know struggles with rheumatoid arthritis and wants to rid themselves of inflammation for good, check out our website, mgiclinic.com, and schedule a discovery call with me. I'll walk you through some practical steps for rheumatoid arthritis recovery and how to achieve lasting results in just 6 weeks. Okay, let's get started. We've seen some studies supporting the carnivore diet for managing rheumatoid arthritis, but there's also research showing just the opposite, and some even suggesting a connection between the carnivore diet and development of rheumatoid arthritis. So with all this conflicting evidence, how do we know what truly works for rheumatoid arthritis? In my last video titled Ideal Diet for Rheumatoid Arthritis, I discussed how I develop personalized diet plans based on 4 essential criteria. These criteria help me determine whether a specific diet will be effective for managing rheumatoid arthritis or not. And here's a recap of those 4 criteria. Number 1 is phytonutrients. Number 2, macronutrient requirements. Number 3, microbiome specificity, and number 4, food sensitivity. For more detailed information, please feel free to check out the Ideal Diet for Rheumatoid Arthritis video, but I'll also give you a brief rundown over here. Now let's dive into how the carnivore diet for rheumatoid compares to other diets like the phytonutrient diet, which I often recommend for rheumatoid arthritis patients. Just to review, you have harmful bacteria and fungus in the gut that ferment carbohydrates like sugars, starches, and fiber, leading to bloating, gas, and joint inflammation. So does the carnivore diet actually help with rheumatoid arthritis? The answer is yes. It does sometimes work, but it's just because it removes carbohydrates from this equation, reducing the source of inflammation. The carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis is centered around animal-based foods, cutting out fiber, carbs, but it includes electrolytes for balance. The carnivore diet eliminates all carbs, including fiber, sugars, starches, and lactose, which prevents harmful gut bacteria and fungus from being fed, and only provides calories from fats and proteins. This makes it different from keto or low-carb diets for rheumatoid, which might still allow for small amounts of carbs that could contribute to inflammation. That's why when it works, it's used as a short-term strategy for managing flare-ups or when other diets haven't been effective for rheumatoid arthritis. However, remember those 4 criteria I mentioned earlier? Let's take a look at how this diet works in the long run. Now, while eliminating carbohydrates can provide temporary joint relief, it doesn't resolve the long-term imbalances in the gut microbiome that we see in rheumatoid arthritis, and I'll dive into that in just a bit. Let's jump into the first criteria, which is phytonutrients. Known for their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, these compounds can be incredibly helpful for managing inflammation in conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, especially since inflammation is a major factor in this disease. Here's a 2022 study about natural compounds used in RA treatment, like flavonoids, polyphenols, alkaloids, glycosides, and terpenes, and its action mechanism. Here's another 2022 study on the role of polyphenols and their potential as RA treatment due to their antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and immunosuppressive properties, and their ability to modulate key inflammatory pathways. Phytonutrients fall into different categories such as polyphenols, terpenes, thiocyanates, fiber, resistant starches, omega fats, and alkaloids. They play a vital role in reducing inflammation in the gut and throughout the body, which is essential for managing RA symptoms. A strict carnivore diet, however, lacks these important phytonutrients. But if you're committed to the carnivore diet, you can still introduce phytonutrients through herbal teas. These teas provide phytonutrients without adding carbs, fiber, or sugar. Other diets related to the carnivore, like paleo, keto, and low-carb diets for rheumatoid arthritis, do allow for phytonutrients, so they may be worth considering if you want those anti-inflammatory benefits. Keep in mind that with a strict carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis, you'll miss out on the benefits of phytonutrients, which are essential for reducing inflammation in conditions like RA. Now, let's look at macronutrient requirements. The carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis actually does a good job meeting these macronutrient requirements. Macronutrients include carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. By entering your height, weight, and activity level into the calculator on my website, you can estimate your macronutrient needs. With the carnivore diet, you'll need to make some adjustments like increasing your intake of fats and proteins while lowering your carbs. In general, a diet that gets half of its calories from fat is normally a good thing, although I don't particularly like saturated fats and meats, which are associated with certain inflammatory processes. I also don't like the animal-based cholesterol in meat, which can increase arachidonic acid in the body. I describe both of these pathways of rheumatoid arthritis-related inflammation in other videos on my channel, so if you need a refresher, feel free to take a look at these videos. When I design diets for my rheumatoid clients, they are generally lower in carb anyways for obvious reasons, and most of the fats come from plant-based omega sources, so you don't have these problems. From a macronutrient perspective, however, the carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis works, but managing the saturated fats and cholesterol is crucial for inflammation control. Next, let's discuss microbiome specificity. Let's revisit this equation. Bad bacteria and fungus feed on carbs, which leads to joint inflammation. The carnivore diet removes the carbs, but does it actually promote the growth of good bacteria? The answer is a firm no. I know this may sound controversial, as there are people on YouTube who believe that the gut microbiome diversity improves on the carnivore diet. You'll even find Reddit threads dedicated to discussing this, but from my experience reviewing hundreds, if not thousands of stool studies, I have never seen a healthy microbiome in someone following the carnivore diet with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis-related inflammation often stems from gut microbiome dysfunction. That's why in our program we start by introducing patented probiotics from Japan, which recalibrate the microbiome and help push out harmful bacteria. But how do we promote the growth of good bacteria? It's not by avoiding carbs, it's by selecting specific phytonutrients. This is where the mind-gut immunity method shines. We designed the rheumatoid diets to promote the growth of beneficial bacteria, which form a protective biofilm and push out bad bacteria and fungus. Over time, this process allows the body to produce fewer pro-inflammatory markers like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6. The problem with carnivore diets for rheumatoid arthritis is that it ignores the root cause of the issue. When you are temporarily not feeding the bad bacteria by cutting out carbs, the symptoms return as soon as you reintroduce the fiber, starches, or sugar. Over time, I've seen this pattern play out repeatedly. People fail the carnivore diet because it's simply not sustainable long-term. When carbs are reintroduced, the symptoms also come back because the gut microbiome dysfunction was never resolved. In contrast, the Phyto-diet fixes the root cause microbiome issues in rheumatoid arthritis. This means that long-term, you'll have more flexibility with your diet and can even enjoy cheat meals without negative consequences. I typically teach my clients how to incorporate cheat meals by the second or third month of the program once we've fixed most of the gut issues. While the carnivore diet can help during flare-ups, it's not a sustainable long-term strategy compared to the customized phyto diets we create for our clients with rheumatoid. Over the years, I've had many discovery calls with people who have tried the carnivore diet for rheumatoid arthritis, and most of them tell me the same thing. They experienced temporary relief, but their symptoms came back once they started eating carbs again. And this is a story I hear all too often. My hope is that this honest review helps you figure out whether the carnivore diet is the right choice for managing rheumatoid arthritis. While it may help short term, fixing the gut microbiome is key to achieving long-term relief. Let's move on to the final criteria, food sensitivities in rheumatoid arthritis. Food sensitivities are a major concern for managing rheumatoid arthritis, and in my talks, I cover the 4 main food sensitivity tests that are available: the skin prick test, the IgE blood test, the IgG4 blood test, and the newer mediator release blood test. If you need a refresher on these tests, I suggest watching my video discussing the food sensitivity testings for rheumatoid arthritis. Now, specifically in terms of the carnivore diet, we have to consider complex proteins, something I've discussed in my previous videos. When you consume large amounts of protein, it's broken down in the stomach and upper intestines by proteases. These enzymes break the proteins into individual amino acids which are absorbed into the bloodstream. However, sometimes the proteins don't fully break down and instead form small peptide chains which can lead to inflammation in rheumatoid arthritis. This tends to happen with animal-derived complex proteins. That means there's a good chance of developing sensitivities to one or more types of meat or even eggs, and that's why the carnivore diet can be risky for rheumatoid arthritis, as it limits your food options and increases the likelihood of food sensitivities. Alright, that's my talk. In the comments below, tell me your experience with rheumatoid arthritis with carnivore diets and what has worked for you and what didn't. I'm curious to hear about your experience. Also, I've had a great deal of success using the mind-gut immunity approach in my clients, and I'm a strong supporter of customized phyto diets for rheumatoid arthritis and focused gut microbiome recalibration for our clients to achieve long-term success. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content such as this. As always, this is Dr. Chanu Dasari with the Mind Gut Immunity Clinic, and I'll see you next time.